Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we have a super special and highly informative video lined up for you. Joining with you all is my dear friend Sneha, and she's from IISER Bhopal. She's my classmate. So Sneha is not only incredibly intelligent but also full of enthusiasm, and she's here to share her experience about securing foreign internships because she has done a couple of internships, and in this video, we'll be diving deep into everything you need to know about foreign internships, how to apply, where to apply, who can apply, what are the chances of getting selected, CPI criteria, and the entire application procedure, stipends, and if there will be any money needed to apply. So, if you are someone who dreams of getting foreign internships, then I think that this video will be very beneficial for you. So let's start with the video. So we have Sneha.
Thanks, Anjali, for the introduction.
So do you want to speak something about yourself?
Hi, guys. So I'm Sneha. I'm fourth year biology major at IISER Bhopal. And today we are going to talk about my experiences about foreign internships. Particularly, I've done two internships, one during the summer of 2023 at Newcastle University, England, and another one during the summer of 2024 at Laval University, Canada.
So were you always interested in research, or either made you inclined towards research?
Actually, I wasn't at all interested in research. So I had slightly different plans for myself, but then I came to IISER Bhopal, and the major reason why I got inclined towards research was the internships that I had done so far, particularly the internship that I did at Newcastle University. So,
So in which area you're interested in?
Right now I'm majorly interested in cancer biology.
Okay.
So, but it did not start off with that. Initially, I started working with C. elegans, and I did like my experiences are quite diverse. I've worked on chemotaxis, asymmetric cell division, and a bit here and there. And only then did I realize that yes, cancer biology is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that is something that I believe is okay. A lot of people do that. So yeah, I mean, IISER in that way is an amazing institution because you'll get that space and opportunity where you can just come and explore and finally decide what is it that you want to do.
So that's what I wanted to tell, because I get a lot of comments in which you people say that I'm interested in this field, that field, I want to do this, but as you people are class 11, 12, or maybe drop year, so I think that at this age you should allow yourself to explore more. IISER's curriculum is also such that in first year you have to study everything. As she said that she found her interest, it was not always cancer biology. So
Yeah, and I mean, if about that, I'd also like to mention one thing. Until the end of second year, I wanted to take chemistry as my major, and then I decided to take biology, and here I am. So it happens to a lot of people, and
yeah.
what I'd really recommend to you guys is don't kind of restrict yourself or your thought process. Gain whatever you can, explore. I think, especially if you are in first year, you should explore and then, decide what you want to do because there are a lot of good things. And we don't know about that when we are in school. But when you come to a place like IISER, here we can attend a lot of talks and talk to a lot of, people. And there are some of the best researchers of our country working here at the institute. You can talk and discuss stuff with them, and then you can decide what it is that you would actually like to do.
That sounds interesting. So Sneha, can you tell us about the procedure, like how to apply and from where did you come to know about it?
Okay, so Actually, the internship that I did after my second year during the summer, so it is actually a funny story. So one of my seniors, his girlfriend went to this university in Latvia, and I just kind of saw her LinkedIn, and I decided that okay, I'll also write mails to foreign professors. And when I did decide that I'll write mails to foreign professors, I did not think that I'll get an acceptance. I just wanted to write mails for the sake of writing mails. And then I kind of started applying, and like I started mailing professors from all over the world, Greece, Japan, and everywhere. And I think initially it did not start off with, I did not have that mindset that yes, I want to do for an internship, but it was like I applied and I got rejected. And that was kind of disheartening when you put so much of your time and energy kind of optimizing the perfect mail, and then sometimes they don't even look at your mails, sometimes they don't reply, and sometimes you simply get rejected. So it is very disheartening, but you eventually kind of learn how to deal with that rejection. And I think that is one of the most important thing for someone to learn. Don't take rejections personally, and you gotta, and even after all the rejections, keep applying, because that is how you get an acceptance eventually. Like personally, I had to write something around 77 mails to get one acceptance in my second year, and that was with everything else that I was doing. That internship was majorly through cold mailing. Then in the third year, I got my tax, and I think the process of for me to get my tax to get selected at my tax was, I would say, really easy, because I already had some really good experience. So it's just that I filled in the application and I got selected. Yeah, so that is how it was.
So, Sneha, for applying for these internships, do we need to pay some like application fee?
No, no, there is no application fees at all for any of the internship programs that I know of
So
so far.
basically, anyone can apply for that.
Yeah, yeah, anyone can apply.
And is there any CPI criteria for getting foreign internships?
See, so if you will apply through this, through portals, and if you want a fellowship, so a lot of those fellowships do have a CPI criteria. Some of them have it above 7.5, some of them have above 8. So yeah, if you want to get a fellowship, you will need to maintain a decent CPI. But through cold mailing, I would say professors in Europe are usually not much concerned about your grades. So if you are applying through cold mails and that, so CPI is not a very strict criteria, but it is always, I think, a good idea to maintain a good CPI.
For CPI, now we are clear. So, can you tell how to find professors and where to find, how to target them?
Okay, so I think, see, for some of the internship applications, there is already a list of projects that is there. So you will have to apply for a particular project. But then there are some other fellowships like Charpak, for which you will first need an acceptance from a professor, and even if you are cold mailing, you will need to know a professor. So what I did was I went to the departments of particular universities, and I saw each professor's research profile, what they are doing. But again, that is very time taking, and particularly universities in Europe, they don't have a very, I would say, well maintained or very clear web pages, so it is hard to find. So what I personally used to do was, if I would find one professor would be working on something which is of my interest, I'd go to Google Scholar and I'd look at their co-authors. So they are mostly working on something similar. Or I'd go through their papers and I'd go through the list of the co-authors of those papers. So that I think is one fast way of, kind of finding professors. So this is something which you can do.
And do first year students also get foreign internships because they are mad about getting foreign internships?
Uh, First year, I think, see, I don't really say, I wouldn't want to discourage anyone, but look, if someone, see, getting a foreign internship is like, it's a lot of hustle. So the professor will help you through your visa, for your visa, and a lot of other documentation. So it is natural that if someone is paying that much efforts to bring you to their country, then they'd expect you to have some required skill set so that you can come and work in their lab and produce some good results. So I think for the first year, when you have not done an internship so far and you don't have a research experience, it is, I mean, quite hard to get an internship. So if you are in first year, what I would rather suggest is, and honestly, I do understand your enthusiasm because I was also that enthusiastic. And so, what I'd rather suggest is do one nice internship in India, learn whatever you can, learn whatever techniques you can, and once you have some kind of desired skill set on which a professor can bet, then I think you can try applying to all of these foreign internships.
So experiences play a major role in finding foreign internships. Like they value past internship experiences.
Yes, they do value a lot. And also one kind of doubt which I had while applying was, I think it's so the internship that I did in England. So the model organism that I used was C. elegans, and it was about asymmetric cell division. So when I was applying for the next time in my third year, so I had this kind of thing in my head that I should maybe look for something similar because then it would be easier for me to get an internship. That can work sometime, that does work at times, but it is not important always, because if you like to transition, then professors are not really strict about that as well, because the internship that I did in Canada, it was quite different from what I had done earlier. There I worked on human cells, I worked on cancer epigenetics. So I would say, when it comes to experience, whatever experience you can gain as an undergraduate is valuable experience. So you don't really, as a first year or second year student, you don't need to be very particular about things, that okay, this is what I like and this is what I want to work on, and if I don't get it, then I don't want to work at all. I would say that sort of mindset is not very healthy. And if you're a first or second year student, you should, kind of do whatever you can do, because I would say opportunities are rare, and if you get one, take it.
So Sneha, when I took interview of Rita Di and Sumit Bhaiya, so they focused on SOP and CV. So it plays a major role in finding PhD opportunities. So is it the same for finding internships also abroad?
Yes, it is quite the same, because see, what they're really looking for is your research experience. So CV is something which depicts what kind of experience you have had, your internships, your skills. So that is something which you can mention in your CV. So CV does play a great role. Also for SOP, I would say is, I think what the one thing that I've majorly seen with foreign professors is, see, it's like if you apply at a big name place, they are getting a lot of applications already. So you should ask yourself one question: why would this professor choose me when they have like other tens of other applicants applying to them? You should give them a reason why they should choose you. And sometimes the other candidates who are applying, they might have grades as good as yours. They might have a research experience similar to yours. So you need to show what is different. And one thing which I have personally realized from all the interviews that I've given to all of these professors is they're looking for some sort of enthusiasm in students about their research work. So you have to show them that you really like what they are doing, right? And in your SOP, or when the professor is interviewing you, you don't want to say vague statements. It's like, if you like epigenetics, you don't want to, if the professor is working on cancer epigenetics, then in an interview or in your in your SOP, you don't want to say that I like cancer epigenetics, because that is a very broad domain. So the more specific that you can be, the better it is. And also research, from what I have realized with my experiences, it is failing most of the times. It's like trying to do one thing, failing at it again, trying to optimize a particular reaction, or a experiment, and then not being able to do it, and then trying again, and then failing again. So that is what research is. So eventually people get tired of this, right? And those professors, they know that people get tired. So it is only when you are like really enthusiastic about something that you would be able to get through it. So the excitement, the enthusiasm that you have for their research topic is something that matters a lot to them. Also, for writing SOP, there is this one suggestion which a professor gave me, which I think I can share with you. So I wrote my SOP and then I showed it to a professor, and then she said to me that you have to write it in a way that the committee, when they read it, they feel like you are really dying to get this internship, and there is no other place where you would rather be than the one where you are going. So you have to, you have to write your SOP in such a way that from the person who is reading it gets that feeling.
So that was really valuable regarding SOP. That would be very beneficial for you all. So now comes the most interesting and demanding question. So what about stipend? Like how much do you get? Do you have to pay something from your pocket, or you get everything refunded from them?
Okay, so for my tax, I think my tax is a very well paid fellowship. It's like, so they paid, I think, us like something around 5.2 lakhs. So we didn't have to pay anything from our pocket, rather, we were all able to save money. For the internship that I did in Newcastle, I got paid for most of it, but some of the expenses I had to carry on my own. And actually mostly it is the fellowships that pay you like really well, and if you are able to beg a fellowship for yourself, then that is really good, and then you won't really have to pay anything. But mostly when if the professor is funding you, then their funds are limited, so that is a bit of an issue. Then you might have to pay something from your own pocket. And if you are cold mailing, then what I can suggest is mail French professors, because from what I know, they get stipend, they get money to pay their interns. In other countries or in other systems, professors are not really paid to pay their interns, but in France they are. So I think the easiest way for you to get funding to do your internship is if you apply in France.
So that was really something new which I also didn't know. So that would be very helpful for you all if you're applying. And Sneha, can you give some light to CV? Like what makes CV unique? At first year, when we were in first year, we also did not had so much idea how to make and all.
Yeah, so a CV, I think if it is well arranged and if what you are trying to tell them, if you are able to highlight things, then that is one good thing. So what I do with my CV is after mentioning the fellowship or the university that I went to, what I do is I write the aim of my project. Like uh, for the internship that I did in England, the aim was to this identify this APKC to generate phosphomimetic and non-phosphorylable mutants. So I mentioned the aim. So that makes it like clearer for the professor to what they did, and then I can write about specific things what I did, like yes, I did a micro injection, then I did PCRs and all. So that is how I do it. Then also in CV, if you mention about your skills, then that is also one really good thing that they look at. And sometimes you can mention the important courses that you have taken, which might which are relevant to the professor's research work. And then you can also mention your grades. So that is.
Sneha, I forgot to ask you, like you have done work at IISER Bhopal also.
Yeah.
So can you compare the workload and internships in India and abroad?
So workload, I think workload is majorly same. I think what is really different is the way people work here and the way they work there. So those people, they do a strict 9 to 5 thing, and during that 9 to 5 they only work. They are not they won't chitter chatter and all of those sort of things. But here I think we work for long hours. We'd go to the lab at 10 and we'd be in the lab till evening or late night. But in those hours we have fun and do other sort of things as well. So yeah, I mean, majorly working in the lab is similar. It's the work that you have to get done. And also ICERs, I would say in particular, are really prestigious institutions.
Yeah.
So we have some really good facilities, and according we are doing some good research here. So I wouldn't say that there is a lot of difference between the lab work, but I think one major difference which I had seen was the work culture.
I just wanted to ask, can you share some of the fellowships with them because people have no idea and they cannot afford from
Okay.
their own pocket.
Yeah, so chart work is there. And if you are an IISER student, then we also have this exchange program with ENS that students can apply for. Also, we have ANUFRT, and there is University of Tokyo Fellowship, UTSIP, and UTRIP that I think students can apply for. There is also this ISTA, I think, Institute of Science and Technology, Austria. They have a summer internship program. And yeah, I think those are a few fellowships that you can apply for. But again, fellowships are very competitive. Yeah. And hard to get. So don't get disheartened if you get rejected. I got multiple rejections. So that is okay. That is completely fine. I think the other thing which I can suggest you doing is cold mail professors, and particularly I would say mail in France, because they do get funding for internships. So it's like, I mean, getting accepted from a French professor is hard. But what I have heard, or what one of the French professors have told me, is it is kind of illegal in France to have an intern and not pay them. So it is mandated by their law that they have to pay you. That is not the case in other countries. That is, in UK, they don't have funding for interns, and I don't think they have that in Canada as well. So cold mailing is something which you can, which is like an easier thing to get, but funding can be an issue, and that is not there in France, from what I know.
That was really informative. Now I would like to ask about the living conditions and how, like, here we have mess, we just go and have food, so there Indian food is available or not, and how you make food or you buy food, so what is the system there?
So they don't have any mess kind of system, and they have cafeterias, but again, the food there is quite expensive, and you cannot eat that every day. Also, the food there is bland, so it doesn't taste good, especially when you have an Indian tongue. So I think it is important that you learn to cook before you go. That is something which would come in handy if you would go there, because there eventually you'll have to make your own food. So the lifestyle has to, you will get a feeling of an real adult. Like, you'll have to get up, then you'll have to cook for yourself, then you'll have to work for 9 to 5, then you have to come back, cook again, and then sleep. So cooking is something which, kind of comes in handy if you know that. And I think that is, I personally know how to cook, so I did not have much of an issue with that. But the other interns that I saw, they kind of had an issue with that, because food is important. And so, yeah, if you know how to cook, then that is one amazing thing for yourself if you are going abroad.
So for cooking you have to buy everything, like stove or
It depends. No stove or any, like if you live in a student accommodation, so there, things like utensils are not available. So you'll have to buy your fry pan and some of the utensils that you'll need to cook. But for me, it was different. Like, I kind of lived in a house where there was a landlord and there were other tenants already. So there, everything was available. And what I think what students can really do is, you can look at Facebook Marketplace for a place to stay, and then you can have a chat with your landlord or landlady. You can ask them what is available and what is not available, and then kind of plan your stay accordingly.
how did you find the house there? So did your parents go to accommodate you there, or you did everything on your own?
So I mostly did everything on my own. So in England, I found a place to stay using Facebook. So there are a lot of kind of groups. So it's like student accommodation in Newcastle, and there are a lot of groups there. So you can just post a message that I'm looking for a place to stay and things like that. Then there is Facebook Marketplace. So that is how I found a place to stay for myself. And in Canada, I used Kijiji. Also, you have to be a bit careful about those sort of things, because sometimes they ask you to pay, and you have to be careful about online frauds and if all those sort of things. So I think if you look at the house and everything, so that is one thing that you can do. Other than that, I'm not quite sure how you can get rid of these online frauds.
What is that KGG which you have?
It's a website where you can find rental places in Canada. So that is a website particular for Canada.
And what is the scenario of transportation there?
So transportation, it's like bus. There are buses which you can use. The the fare is not quite expensive. It's fine. I think it's affordable. But I personally used to walk to the university, And in Canada, they have electric bicycles, so that is much cheaper than public transports like buses and all. And those electric bicycles, you have to pay like a monthly rent, and then you keep using it.
That is the case there.
Yeah.
So you guys must know how to ride a cycle. So Sneha, we hear that in abroad there is a discrimination with Indians. So is there something like that, and how did you adjust there?
See, I mean, see, there you might find one or two racist people at times, and yeah, I mean, once it happened to one of my friend came to visit me in England, and then there was this bus conductor that he was trying to ask him something, and this bus conductor, he was willing to answer all the questions of white people, but he wasn't answering him, and he was very rude. So those sort of things might happen at times, but that is very rare. It honestly very rare. And the way to get through it is, don't take it personally, and don't kind of give those people that authority where they can let you down. It's okay, they are just like us. And you don't have, I think, just don't pay any attention to them, and do what you are doing. And I personally believe that Indians are much better than all of these white people, so have that attitude and then you'll get through it.
Okay, so that's the case.
Yeah.
So Sneha, at these places, did you ever face cultural shock?
Yes, so in particular, when I first went to England, I kind of did experience a huge cultural shock. I mean, the way they live, the way they work, it's actually quite different. And it's like, so I would go to the lab in the morning, and then they'd be like, "Hey Sneha, how you doing? How's your day going?" And on Fridays, they'd be like, "Hey Sneha, what are your plans for the weekend?" And all those sort of things. I think we don't do that here in India.
Yeah.
So they are different in a lot of ways. And initially in England, it was a bit hard for me to make friends and get accommodated to the way they live or the way they do things. But once I when I went to Canada, it wasn't a big problem for me because I knew what those people are like. So you might kind of feel that, but eventually what I'd say is they are nice people, and just don't restrict yourself. Kind of don't have any stereotypes in your head about them. They are at times very helpful. And also what I'd say is, uh, you know k- don't keep yourself open, and if you need help, ask for it. They are very helpful, and eventually you will get through it. And also what I've realized is, some of them were very helpful to me, so I can share an incident with you. Like there I was traveling through London tube. So there was this one place where there were only stairs, no elevators. There were stairs, and I had like two big 23 kg bags and one on my shoulder, and there were like a few stairs that I had to get through. And then this man comes to me and he says, "Do you need help?" So I said yes, and he took one of my bags and he just kind of dragged it through the stairs and he just put it down. And then this other lady came up and she said, "Do you need help?" And then she helped me with the another bag. So yeah, I mean, they are very helpful. So if you are having a tough time navigating through anything, then just ask for help. Don't be ashamed of anything. Those people are very nice. and they'll help you with anything that you need.
So Sneha is the real example of strong, independent woman. So Sneha, it's a dream for many which you have already lived. So I want you to share some of your good moments during your internship.
So particularly for me, I think England felt like home. It's a very beautiful country, and the people they are even more beautiful. And it's been like 1.5 year or even more than that I've come back, and I still talk to my landlord. He's my friend, and actually I had a conversation with him like a few days ago, and he was like, "So when are you coming back?" And I was like, "I'll come." So he said, "It's fine. Wherever you'd come for an internship this time, you won't be too far, and I have a passport." So, and also there are other people who still keep on asking about how am I doing. So that is quite overwhelming. And the lab that I worked in it was awesome. The people there, they were so nice and so helping. And not to mention that Europe is a very beautiful continent, and England in particular is a very beautiful country. I think in Canada it was a different, the experience was different. Um, it was more of like, what should I say, a teenager's life. I had a lot of fun, partied a bit, went to places, had a bunch of other my tax interns that I enjoyed being around. So, and I also went to visit a few places, Toronto, Banff. So, all in all, I would say my experiences were pretty good. And I think if any one of you would get a chance to visit these countries, it would be really nice for you. I'm sure you'd enjoy.
So thank you, Sneha, for sharing your experience with us. Your experience, your valuable insights will motivate, of course, many, and especially it will motivate many girls who don't even dream of going abroad. So you must take inspiration from her. And let me tell you, it's not like that she only studies. She is my classmate and my friend, so I know her personally. So she's a very lively girl, full of enthusiasm, and you'll see her in all the festivals, activities. So she's a all-rounder type of student. It's not like that if you are studying, you just have to study, you have to live your life also. So that's what, and she has really shared many good points like of SOP, her experience, which you'll not get anywhere else. So also this is not something like, this is not a commercial video. So whatever she is telling, that is true. That is her experience. So I feel like this video will be helpful for many. And if you have any doubts, of course you can write in comment section. I'll reply. She can also reply. And I really appreciate that you gave so much of time for my channel.
Thanks for having me, Anjali.
So thank you, and I wish you
Thanks
all
for
the best.
watching, guys. Keep applying, don't give up. You will get an internship one day.
That's all. Thank you, and subscribe, like, and share.